from the last video then. We've reached the final stages now. This is the last bit that I'm going to show you, and I'm sure you're all pleased about that. And I'm showing you two books that I've already done, but the thing is the same for the books that we have completed, which I'll show you in a minute. And it doesn't matter about the size of the book. The size of the book doesn't matter. This is a really good method. And all you need is a piece of wood covered in good quality sandpaper or a roughish quality sandpaper, smooth on one side and rough on the other. I've got P60 there and P120. The P120 is fine and the P60 is rough, so the lower you get, the rougher it gets. And I find P60 is rough enough. And this is coppers a sheet. I mean, you can buy this for pennies. It's not expensive. And you've already got the glue, so you must have the glue. And all you do is you put one of these pieces of emery cloth or emery board onto your bit of wood. It's only a piece of wood. That's all that is, just a piece of wood. And then you cut the outsides off and square it off. I mean, I've stuck two pieces together there, and I must have done 200 bucks with this, and it's still going fine, strong. And I'm not quite sure what kind of emery cloth it is, if it's emery or whether it's, I don't think it's sandpaper. I think it is an emery type. It's very, very rough this side and smooth this side. Anyway, most people have got some kind of emery board. And there's two ways of doing it. If you've got the ordinary book with the soft covered back on it, this one, and it's got no Fablon on, you can quite happily put it in a nipping press or something to hold it, so you don't have to hold it. You can do it by hand if you want to, as long as you've got this nipped. And you could use two boards with two G-clamps if you wanted. There's several types of things you could use or whatever. And all you do is you get, I'm not going to actually do it because this makes such a mess. It's very, very powdery, but you can see that what's going to happen. And you put it on, and it's very rough at the beginning, but all you do is you just rub. Because don't forget, this is a piece, paper is wood, so all you're doing is you're just manipulating wood, and you rub with a rough side until you get the position you want, and then do it with the smooth side until you get the actual condition you want. On all three sides, you just turn the book around and do it on all three sides, and you'll get a good condition, and you'll find that the little pieces keep coming off all the time, because don't forget it is wood, but you get a good result. And that one has definitely been done with just this board. It was done with this board, and it's quite a good result. And I've shown you this book before, but there's no way I have got a cutting machine, and I do cut, so I don't pretend that I don't do something I don't do. But this is what I used to use when I didn't have any proper tools. So I'm not showing you something that you can't do. This actually works. This was actually done. And you'll see once you start rubbing, there's a little piece, I don't know if you can see, there's a little piece there, which is coming off. And little pieces there. They keep coming off, but I mean, if that's all your worries are, I mean, you haven't got any worries. But it does a reasonable job. And this book was made in exactly the same way that the other books were made in. And the other method of doing it is virtually the same, except if you've got that's one without a Fablon back. There's no Fablon on that one at all. There's nothing Fablon on that one. So, and I did the two types, and this one has got a Fablon back. And if you start rubbing Fablon, it will bubble, it'll move, and you'll ruin the edge. So put it in the book. Separate it so it goes in the book, so the middle of the book goes in, and you leave the outside covers on the outside of the frame like that. And then you can rub this down to the level you want on all sides, and then if this goes below the level of this, you can put your Alpha knife on and then cut it to shape with your Alpha knife and a ruler, which you've seen many times. So you put the Alpha knife on and the ruler, and you'll cut the Fablon and the back cover at the same time, like so, and you'll get a very, very good edge, and nobody will know the difference. And that's the second type, or second way of doing the books. And it's not a lengthy process. It doesn't take long to get a good quality, and things are not too bad. And this one, all I did with this one was, if I'd have gone down too far, would have been to put the steel ruler on the off, and I can cut that bottom corner off. It's so simple, I'm not going to go into that anymore. But here I've got the, just move these out of the way. It just finishes the book off for you. And here are the three books that I was messing about doing. The Titanic, with its back on, cut to shape, done in the manner I've just shown you, and it's not a bad looking book, in black and white, but it is a ready book, and my friend's going to read this and then he's going to go zip. So I'm not bothered. The Knights Templar, which was done in the manner that I've shown you, where you put the two sides to one side and then push this up through your little nipping press, and then you do this bit and not the outsides, and when you've gone down far enough you'll find you've gone below this, the level of this, so you cut that off with a knife, a sharp knife. So that's the Knights Templar. And I use black all the time because I find colours are quite expensive, and I do fill up my inks. I'll show you how to do that at some time if anybody's interested, how you fill up your ink bubble jet. I usually buy about half a litre of black at a time and then just keep filling it up, and it makes it worthwhile doing books then. So if you find it's expensive buying, people moan about buying the cartridges, you can fill a cartridge up about a dozen times or even more. And as I say, this is the Danes. So there were three books that I did together, and they're not far off looking like the real thing. And most people would be quite happy to have made a book like that, I hope. Anyway, I was quite pleased when I made them. I don't do too many now because I'm into making, I'm into doing something else, some cloth bound books and things like that. I went into leather and stuff like that. But I mean, if anybody wants to know anything, just leave me a note in the comments box, and I'll try and tell you something, anything that I know. I'm not a professional or anything. I'm still learning myself. I'm wrong on a lot of things, and people can put me right, and I get little notes and people put me right on what I've done wrong, and I'm quite happy about that. But I hope this has been of some use to somebody, and I hope you enjoy the product and the way it was made and how it was done, and if anything's wrong with the videos, please tell me and I'll try and put that right. I haven't done much editing because I'm not a video expert, but I'll do whatever you say if you want something particular or something special. Anyway, I'll stop that. I'll class that as the end of my softbound book or perfect bind. It's not actually a perfect bind, but by God, it's quite close. It's quite close. Anyway, and I'm sorry it's such a large item, because I tend to waffle. Anyway, I shall stop there and hope that it's been of some value, some use to somebody.